So the iconic game Plants vs. Zombies was made in 3.5 years. But that game was made all the way back in 2009 when game development wasn't really accessible the way it is now. So with all the technology we have, what would the game look like if instead of 3 years, the game was made in 3 days? Keep watching to find out. So to begin, I made some art real quick for a pea shooter and a sun in pixel art. In the original game, suns are used as currency to buy and place plants in your lawn, and they also randomly spawn from the sky and you got to click on them to pick them up. So I quickly worked on that, and soon after I was thinking of how much I do pixel art in my games, and I wanted to do something different and just went for regular art. So I got this new and improved pea shooter, a sunflower, and a walnut. Replacing all the pixel art took a bit of work, but eventually I got everything working. And also you must have noticed the pea shooter flying around, because now I'm going to work on the planting mechanics. With a bunch of coding done, now you can place down pea shooters that won't do anything yet, but they will eventually. But one important thing about placing down plants is be able to select what plants to place, because usually in the game there's a hotbar on the top with all of your plants you have in the fight, and I tried to make that in my game as well, and it looks alright. But before I get that working, I want to add functionality to at least one of the plants, and I'll be choosing the sunflower. I got it spawning and gave it a little animation for idling, and then made it start spawning suns at random intervals. But usually there is some sort of animation that comes up when the sunflower produces suns, so I did a little squash and stretch right before spawning one in. And I also tried to get the smooth animation for picking up suns, which took some work, but now it's looking all fine. Anyway, let's get back to making the hotbar. I quickly made the other plants, even a potato mine, though none of them worked yet. I just quickly animated them so that I can test out the hotbar, and planting does actually consume suns now. Anyway, I would start adding all the functionality to the rest of the plants, like making the pea shooter shoot and the potato mine explode. But all those things they do are because of zombies, and if I don't have zombies, then I can't really test them. So I started to work on the art for the zombie, and I wanted to do some skeleton animations rather than the regular frame-by-frame ones, because the game also uses a similar system to animate the zombies. And when I was done drawing the zombie, I had to tear all of its limbs apart for it to work. And after an hour of learning how to set it up, I made this absolutely beautiful and totally normal skeleton. Yeah, sure, it's not the prettiest thing, but it works in the end, so who really cares? Zombies can eat your plants when they get close enough to it, so I made this animation, and now it starts eating when it gets really close. And also the plants are completely invincible, and the zombies would stay there eating forever. So I coded the plant's health and gave it a hit flash, which is a lot more subtle in the original game, but I'm going to leave it in. And I did stumble upon some weird glitches with the animations, which I managed to fix, and the zombies working all good. Moving on to the pea shooter, it now knows when the zombie is in front of it, and it's trying to shoot, but nothing's really happening. But later I made a pea projectile that it now can shoot and damage the zombies. The zombies don't have health yet, but I'll move on to the next plant, the walnut. All I did was give it the basic plant code and increased his health, so he can be used to stall zombies. And now let's move on to the potato mine. Potato mine in the original game needs some time to prime itself after being planted. And then at that stage, when a zombie gets too close, it explodes. Potato mines are super cheap and are great at defending your lawn early. Making it explode and kill other zombies took a bit of trial and error. However, I got the potato mine to just poof the zombies out of existence, which doesn't look all great, so I made a super simple explosion animation. Another vital thing we are missing in the game are cooldowns for planting. Usually you can't spam plants if you have enough suns. You would have to always wait a bit until the plant refreshes, so you could put down one more of the same plant. This is there to balance out planting a little, because being able to plant the super cheap potato mines without a cooldown is not something you really want for a balanced experience. So after a super wacky implementation with a bunch of spaghetti code, it now works. And now all there is to do is to make the zombies spawn, which was a lot easier to put together. Zombie waves get bigger and bigger over time. But there is one other big thing missing in the game. And of course I'm talking about the beautiful background, which in my game is just a grey void. And with the limited time, I went and drew something up really quick, which is still not that good looking, but certainly better than the grey background. And finally added a way for you to lose and restart the game. And that marks the end of 3 days. And yeah, I know I missed a lot of the essential stuff like the lawnmowers, cherry bombs, and some zombie variants. I wanted to do all those and more, but it's only because of the time constraints that I couldn't. And while this is not a fully fledged game, it still works, and I think any Plants vs Zombies fan could tell that this is Plants vs Zombies, just not the one they want to play. But I mean, what could you expect for a game made in just 3 days? Anyway, the game is available on itch.io to play yourself, and let me know what you think about this video in the comments. And like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And also, I don't just straight up copy games. If you'd like to see some of my original stuff, you could click on this video where I pretty much failed a game jam trying to make a game in 3 days. But anyway, that's all from me. See you later.